doing another ranking every video. I know every single person and their mother does it, but why do you watch me? It's because of that great ass intro. We're gonna be going from the worst to the best LTM modes. If you don't know what those are limited time modes within Fortnite. So basically, if you don't know what an LTM is, every couple weeks or so, Epic Games is like, brothers, we got this cool game mode, you want to try it out, 50v50, let's get it. And everybody knows 50v50, absolute trash, and that is why it is at our last spot. I'm joking, guys. The last spot actually is an LTM or a game mode that most people don't know about, and it's called the shooting test. And I believe this was the very first like LTM kind of experimental game mode they tried out. Nobody really considers it a game mode, but the reason why it's the worst is not because nobody remembers it, I guess that's a little bit, but because it's what Fortnite is now. This was what Fortnite was, like, this was their experiment of the damage drop off, of shotguns basically either being 175 damage just hit on, or just 9 damage miss. So that's why I really don't like the new update that Fortnite did with shotguns, and how when you switch weapons, everything's slower and stuff. But I don't know, like, the ARs in my opinion are just kind of too good, and there's a lot of scenarios where a lot of ARs are actually better close range than like even a shotgun or an SMG. So that's why, I don't know, I feel like this new update in the shooting test made ARs too good, and I don't know, I like ARs, but I liked when everything was balanced, in my opinion. Obviously, double pump was not balanced. Obviously, stuff like the guided missiles were not balanced. But you know what? The shooting test just kind of made it too easy to shoot people, and it was kind of like aimbot, and that's how I feel with this first damage accuracy buff that they did with this new update. And then coming right up behind it is the one I just mentioned, 50v50. Now this is the version 1, and just because, you know, 50v50 was this cool mode, I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be really sick. They released this great ass trailer. You got forts on one side, you got bushes. You would have thought this would have been the greatest game mode of all time. They really made it look great, but when you go inside the game mode, yes, you spawn in, you're looking for mats, you're looking for guns, you find one gun, there's like 49 people ahead of you. It's not fun. It just is not really fun. And that's why, like, the trailer made it look great, but in reality, you spend 10 minutes to walk and to die. And it was like really slow for 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden, just the fastest 30 seconds of your life and you instantly die. So I don't know what to tell you. And that's why, also in my opinion, 50v50 version 2 is also at the very bottom, right up next to 50v50. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, really? They did so many great changes. They cut it in half, they made a little circle where everybody could go to. But I think that's the problem. I just think unless 50v50 either has like pre-built forts or something, or you can't build and all these forts is what you can go for, I don't know if it'll ever work. I just think the concept is weird, where it's like one person spawn, one bus is on the other side, one bus is on the other, and you just spend literally, it's the same thing, you spend 10 minutes looting, and then you get to the circle, whether it's at Moisty Mire or Tilted or wherever it is. It takes a while usually to get there, and then once you get there, if you get there too early, you get killed, and if you get there too late, you still get killed. So I don't, like, I can see why streamers love it. Like, if you're really good at the game and if you're playing with absolute idiots, like, this game mode is a lot of fun because it makes it so that everybody's in this tiny circle and it's enjoyable. But other than that, like, it definitely is an improvement from 50v50, but I just don't see it. It's the same thing. You spend 10 minutes to walk and instantly die, but this time it's in a smaller circle. So I don't really know what else to say. Best variation of this group versus group game mode was 20v20. And I know a lot of people might actually disagree with me here, but in my opinion, I felt 20v20 was balanced enough to the point where it was like, okay, you have one squad of 20 going to Pleasant Park, you have the other going to Retail, you have the other going to Salty, and the other going Tilted. And the last 20 kind of just dispersed to make it so that the game is always fluid. You always find someone to kill, you're always looking for people, there's always somebody with you. And it didn't feel like in 50v50 version 2, where if you down, you're dead. You're just forsaken. You're not even a human being at that point. In this game mode, you're still more valuable than the other 19 players that you're online with. They will go for you, they will pick you up, and it makes it seem like you're part of the team more. And that's why I think 20v20 was the best variation. Sure, it wasn't the best for kills, but in my opinion, I think this was what made the game mode more fun, and it was the one I definitely played the most out of the 3 versions, even though I really just don't like this idea, and I think that they should just give it up at this point. But coming up to the next one, this is actually Sniper Shootout version 1. Now, I really love this game mode. It was a lot of fun. I honestly didn't really get to play it much because I think when it came out, I was out in LA or something like that. I just wasn't around. But obviously, revolvers, which was what was made to combat the close combat, was kind of what destroyed this game mode and broke the concept of snipers, because it was just, let's just run like 5 revolvers and hope for the best, and let's hope one of these shots hit. And now this game mode would be awful because the quick swap is essentially gone. So yeah, it would not be that fun. And next up, obviously, I have Sniper Shootout version 2, which was way better in my opinion. You could get a lot better clips in my opinion, because you wouldn't have people running up with you with revolvers. There were crossbows in this. A longer range fight was still there, but in my opinion, it wasn't fun because it still promoted people making their huge ass towers and their huge ass bases, and they would just sit there, and essentially whoever has the higher ground in this game mode really wins, and there's nothing that you can do about that unless your name starts with an N or a TSM. Then you're basically a god, and this doesn't matter to you. But snipers only was fun, especially because a lot of noobs didn't know how to use a sniper, and you would essentially get those really high kill count games. But I don't know, I like Sniper Shootout, but there's definitely a lot more that I liked over it, and I think it was great for clips. But this next one, I know a lot of people will disagree with me here. I think this was definitely not too great for gameplay, but great for, or not too great for recorded gameplay, but great for actual fluidity in gameplay, was Sneaky Silencers. And I know people are going to be like, what? It was just literally a bush, silenced pistol, and silenced SMG. And to think like, man, this was old. Like, this was when silenced pistols just got added out and everybody was like, holy shit. But essentially everybody's problem with this was it was really fun, but it was dragged out. But in my opinion, I kind of see it as this. It was better than Sniper Shootout sort of camping, because even though it was slow, it still had this patience to it that kind of made the game fun. It was like, oh my god, is this bush somebody? Oh my god, is this bush somebody? And then you would run around and you'd hit those like insane snipes across the map with a silenced pistol. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this game mode. I think out of the game modes that I've listed so far, this is the one I've definitely invested the most time into. It was just something that I always enjoyed, and it would be a lot of fun, especially in squads where you guys just have like you have 4 people, all the boys, and you just go there's some type of unseen, unknowable fun that I can't describe fully, which is why I enjoyed it. I just loved going up behind people and just being there and just shooting them, and it was one of the greatest game modes. Now, getting into the really fun game modes that I really loved, the next one is High Explosives version 1. And obviously, I actually didn't play a lot of this. I honestly think I played either 1 or 2 games, but the games that I did play were exceedingly fun. Obviously, it's high explosives. You got RPGs. I think when this game mode was out, there were, I can't remember if it was during an event, but what I do know is that there was a lot of people rocket riding, and it was just so much fun. There was grenades and grenade launchers, and that was about it. But what made this game mode fun is it essentially kind of showed how people need to start building smarter, because it's like, oh my god, everybody has rocket launchers, we just need to build. And I think that's kind of what put everybody above a certain curve. And you know, it was just one of the greater game modes that came out where everybody enjoyed it, everybody loved it. I know a lot of people like Sniper Shootout over High Explosives, but man, there's just something to be said when you shoot an RPG and you just kill a whole team that's like inside a 1x1 wood building. Like, I don't know what to say. You guys just needed to play it for yourself to really just enjoy it. But anyways, this next one is going to be Solid Gold. Now, for people who don't know what Solid Gold is, essentially, it's the regular game, but everybody gets a gold gun. So what was cool about this is back then, the heavy shotguns weren't actually in the game, so it would essentially be how Fortnite would play without shotguns. I think that's what leveled out the playing field. It also taught people how to build smarter without just using using wood, because wood would get demolished in this game mode. Everybody would have a gold gun, so essentially you'd have to start learning how to build with brick or learning how to build with metal, and that's what made the game mode more exciting, because building was essentially used for not always doing the big build battles, but also just using it more smarter, building more cover, you know, building more triangular pieces so that you can get more vantage points without your whole building breaking down, sort of thing. So I think that's why I really like Solid Gold. Also, it was just a genuinely fun game mode. It was similar to the old game mode, but just kind of end game always, and it always made the game mode a lot of fun. I know it could have been broken if they added the new shooting update, which is recently in the game, but you know, back then when it wasn't the heavy shotgun, I really enjoyed this game because it made people use the hand cannon a lot. But now the hand cannon is an absolute monster, especially with the shooting update. So I don't know if I would enjoy a Solid Gold version 2, but we'll see. The next game mode, which is the second last game mode that they've added, is High Explosives version 2. And all I have to say to this, which beats it by a mile from version 1, is the guided missiles. Those things were amazing. They were overpowered, but what made them fun was that you could play this game in solo. So what that means is you could essentially rocket ride yourself with a guided missile, just pick out 3 RPGs, go pow pow pow, and everything dies. It's the greatest game mode of all time. You don't even have to be good at the game. If you can aim somewhere in the general vicinity of a human being, you win. It's the greatest thing they've ever invented. This was during the Easter event as well, when they had the egg launchers, and it was just so much fun to play, especially with squads where people would be guided missile rocketing and you just fly everywhere, and it was amazing. Rip the guided missile. Who knows if it'll ever come back, but it just made for some extremely fun game modes, and that's why I loved it, man. You would see tons of people rocket riding, and honestly, this was one of the better game modes, and I wish that would stay permanent. But the #1 game mode that I know you guys all know what it is, it's got to be Blitz. Blitz is by far the best thing they've ever added into Fortnite because it's simple. It's the general game mode, but faster. And that's the problem whenever I play Fortnite right now. Within 4 or 5 minutes of every single game, especially in solos or duos, not necessarily squads, but in solos or duos, within the first 4 or 5 minutes, it's over 60 to 70 people that are already dead. And that's the problem, because with Blitz, you have more of a fighting chance because you have more drops. And what could be better than that, where you have more players that can travel faster, that have better drops and more materials, so you can have better fights and just enjoy the game more. It makes the game not a farming simulator, so you're not spending like 4 or 5 minutes of your gameplay just getting wood or getting different materials or looking for health or something ridiculous like that. It just makes the game mode a lot of fun, and especially because you constantly get launch pads, you could constantly survey areas, and it was just great. I love this so much, and I don't understand why it's not the regular game mode. It starts off with the circle already in place, so it cuts out a lot of the map that just isn't used by anybody, so it makes people go inside these areas and just enjoy the game, and it's a lot of fun. Every single game was under 15 minutes, and that's how it should be in the end. And also, this was the first game mode to add to solos, so that's why, also in my opinion, if this game mode added duos as well, it would have just been another level of god tier. But unfortunately, they just added solos and squads. But man, this is the game mode, in my opinion, that changed it, and I can agree every single person that you know of, that you watch, would want Blitz out of anything to return and stay permanent as a Fortnite game mode. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for the video. Did hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, do whatever. I gotta go. I'm going to Thailand, guys, but by the time you see this, I'm probably gonna be in Thailand. I'm gonna be off the internet. I'm gonna be crazy, but you know, don't track me. Don't find me.
Could you pay me in advance?